Evening everybody, Rich here, back for something a little bit different today. We're going on a train journey in Transport Fever. I haven't done this for a few months now, but some people like to just stroll, sit on a train and go for a tour around the map. So we've got quite a large map here. It's on the Steam Workshop. I can't remember what it's called though, but I'll try and leave a link in the description. But got quite a decent map, got plenty of hills and things like that. Got a basic mock-up of what I call Southampton docks here. Got several liners in place here. These are all dummy ships because they're only here for the purpose of being looked at, because ships on this game are so slow. But we've got 4 of them here anyway, 2 down this side and 2 over that side. There's our train just approaching now, so we're going to pop across that one. And I'm not sure how long this journey is going to take, but it's going to be a good half an hour, I think. Maybe less or maybe more, I don't know, but I'll wait for our train to pop in. It's got to change train design as well, because I've just set it to go for a City of Truro style locomotive, a Great Western engine. So just fly down to that, and there it is. So I'll hop on board. Actually, we'll go from this view first, and we'll say goodbye to all the ships in the distance. So you get an idea on how big those ships are just by looking. Well, comparing them to the size of the train. I think they're to scale. I'm not sure. I've never seen people on them, so they're only there as assets, basically. So just say goodbye to the ships, and the train will go on its merry way. So got the Southampton terminal sort of thing there, although really it should be around the other side. Anyway, that's the ship's gone. So just hop on board. We'll go for a quick journey. I'll say quick journey, but it's going to take a while. The two, as you can see in the middle of the screen, you can see it says main yellow. I've got the 2 main lines, which are, one's clockwise, which is this one, and one's anti-clockwise. This is main yellow, and the anti-clockwise one is main red. So that's basically what I've called them: main yellow and main red. I don't think there's many stations. I think there's only about 6 or 7 stations on the trip, so that's the purpose. Well, that's not really the purpose, but it's not a very populated map. There's enough towns, but it's only half the map covered at the moment, because I haven't really breached down into the lower half of the map. So there's still plenty more building. I'm still early in the game as well. It's only about 1923, 24. So still quite early in the game. And so we're just approaching a bridge in the distance now. I can barely hear myself talking, it's so loud this is. So got the bridge in the distance. I've just, like I said at the beginning, I just changed the locomotive because it was a Flying Scotsman, but the engine we got now, the City of Truro, I think it's is it 3700 class? I'm not sure, but it's a 440 design engine. It's actually faster than the Flying Scotsman in this game anyway. In real life the Flying Scotsman was a 100 mph plus engine, but in this game it's only 75, so I've gone for this engine, which is an 80 mph in this game, and so we shall use it for this journey. And we're already up to 55 miles an hour, even though we're on an incline, and once we get over the top of the hill the train should speed up a bit more. There is lots of hills in this map, and this train is going to have to go up a very big hill through the mountains, and then have to go down a very, very steep, well, I was not say steep incline, it's sort of a gradual incline, but when you're on it, you can really see how high up you are, because the track has to go right out of a tunnel and then curl round and then back down again, sort of like a road on a hillside, if you know what I mean. And when you're up in the air you can see how high up you are, and it should be quite interesting. The frame rate dropped massively there. But the landscape's a bit more detailed this time than most of the other maps I've done. There's plenty of trees and vegetation on this map, even though there is still a lot of greenery, you know, just green grass and not many towns. But you know what you're going to do, it's still early, the game is still in development. There's another train just gone by, same type of locomotive passing us as this one. So I've already run out of things to say, and we're not even at the first station yet. But yeah, this game, Transport Fever, of course. Those ships you saw in the distance are available on the Steam Workshop, but I'm only using them as assets, basically, just for visual. I mean, the ships on this game are not very economical, if you like. They're sort of run out of money before you use them, so I'm just using them for display basically. Makes the docks look a bit more detailed. So that's the reason why they're there. And they do stand out quite a bit, you can see them from miles away. And that's the reason for that. So we're up to our first station, which is Newbury. Train just pulling out as we pull in. I don't think there's anybody waiting. A very isolated station, this one. And as you can see, we've got 6 tracks in this station. 2 on each side, passenger stops, and in the middle a through line. That's basically for when freight comes through. But I haven't got no freight trains on the line yet, so that's that. We're just on our way now. Next station is Florence. The only station, or the only town I've renamed is Southampton, just for the docks, but every other town is as it is in the game, on the map. When you download it, that is. So we'll see how far we get. Frame rate's going to drop. I don't know if this is going to last long. I don't know, but we'll wait and see. Give me time to have a rant as well. So just pull out a flight of that station we've just been to. Can't remember what it's called already, but we're off to Florence now. Oh, it was Newbury, wasn't it? We've just been to Newbury, and we're off to Florence now. So we're going to run alongside the river now. I thought about putting ships along the river, but the river is quite narrow and not very deep, so I thought I'd not bother. We're going to head into another forest. You can see a mountain to our right. I'm not sure if that's the one we're going to go up, but we'll see. With the train approaching. But like I said, there isn't much on this map at the moment. There's towns and industries, but I haven't really done any sort of detailing around the side of the track, and like factories and things like that. Factories, warehouses, car parks, just connecting roads and things like that. I haven't done any of that. Just basically get the track down, get the trains earning money, and then worry about it afterwards. But the scenery on the right does look pretty good. Got trees all up the side of the mountain there. And the next station's not far away. The signals, you can see, they are a British Rail UK style signal. They're available on the Steam Workshop. The engines that I'm using are of course available on the Steam Workshop, as well as the carriages. They're designed all by the same person who, I can't remember his name, but he does all the Great Western stuff. All the Great Western engines, like the tank engines, the pannier tanks, little saddle tanks, the tender engines. There's also released an engine recently, a 280 locomotive. I can't remember what it's called, but very nice engine it is as well. As you can see, the Great Western style engines have all been released by this chap, and also wagons as well, coal wagons, tankers, and a few other types of coaches, as well as a towed brake van. And the viaducts as well. So that's all what he's been up to, and I appreciate what he's been doing. And it really just give a bit more to the game. If you're a UK person, that is. So here we are in Florence. Don't think there's any passengers waiting either. No, so off to the next one, which is Roseville. As you can see as well, the sleepers, or the wooden tyres, are old-fashioned in the stations, but in the main track it is concrete. That's an issue with me. I've changed the high-speed track so it's available earlier, so I don't have to update it later in the game. But the stations I will still have to update because of the track layout. It's not a big issue. It's something to worry about later on. So we're on our way now to the next station. Another train pulling in. And we're already up to 35, or 34, 35. Top speed is 80. But we probably won't reach that until we're on the descent down the mountain. We're going to need some of that oomph to get up the hill. So we've left the river. The river is to our right still, but it's further away. And I think there's going to be another... I'm not sure actually. Is there another station before the incline? I don't know, but you see that hill, those hills in the distance? We've got to go up then. and it's going to take a while to get at, but you can just see the track in the distance is starting to go uphill. So yeah, I think we're going to go up through the mountains first before we get to the next station. Just going to cross the river now. Got a viaduct up ahead. I'm going to shut up for a couple of minutes. Bit of a lag spike there. And we're just approaching the first tunnel now. Bit of a graphics glitch going on there. But you can see we are quite high up already. And it's just going to get higher and higher. I know one of the tunnels we go through is really long, so it's about 2 minutes worth of travelling before we go back the other end. At least they've added detail to the tunnels now, and you can actually see right through them. As you're struggling for pace now, we're dropping speed. It really is a steep incline, this one. So the top speed is 80. There's a train going the other way. Obviously a lot faster than we are. We really are dropping now. Dropping in speed, and there's the tunnel exit. Go on, keep going, keep going, keep going. And over the crest of the hill. Then we're going to drop down a little bit more. Then we get some speed up again. And then we give it some welly and she's off again. 39, 40. Let's say 80 is the top speed of this engine, but I don't think we're going to reach that until we're on the descent, the real descent. But we have got another tunnel to go through. Look at the scenery. And we're on a very narrow bank as well, which is not very good. As you can see, the track drops and it goes uphill again, so we've got to get some speed up here and then try and get to the top of the hill. I'm just trying to think whether I built this track with the intention of connecting a station up here, but I don't know. There may be a town up here which needed connecting, but I think I just bypassed it and did the loop around instead. It kind of makes this whole journey kind of pointless, really. Because the track climbs so high, and then the next station is actually at sea level. So just approaching the tunnel now. Bit of a graphics glitch with this one because it's a modded tunnel. So we're just going to go in and crash right into a wall. Ooh, tunnel. There we go, right through. And I think there's a cross track in there somewhere as well. I said we're halfway round already, and I think and expecting the time. I thought this would be about an hour, half an hour maybe. I didn't even think it would be that long. Climbing still. We're at a steady pace of 50 miles an hour. Double sticking up ahead, that was my mistake. I say this is a long tunnel. I've already passed one train in it and I'm going to pass another one. There's the end of the tunnel, and we're going to take a sharp turn to the right. And I think this would be the highest point on the journey. And then you could look to the left to see how high we are, because the track's now got to turn and drop right down to sea level. Here's the curve, sharp right. Originally went left. You can see the shelf there went left, but had to bring it this way. So there's the view. And we got to go right round that curve. You can see the track in the distance down the bottom there. That's where we're going. So we've got to go right up here, around the carousel, basically over a viaduct and down into the valley, right down to sea level, which is where our next station is. And just see a train in the distance there. Got another ship in the distance as well. There's a train just coming. He's struggling on the incline because it's quite a steep hill coming up. So you can see he's puffing out a lot of steam. And as we start to turn and go across the viaduct. There we are, turning sharp left now. Look down on everyone below. Like I said, our next town is at sea level, so we're going to continue to drop. See the track on the left where we've just been. And I think there are 15 trains on both lines, so if you count them all the way around, it'll probably be 15 we've passed, or 15 we will pass. I'm getting up quite a bit of speed now, up to 70. Through this cutting. This cutting here is actually new because the track climbed again before we went back down, so the track originally was on the hill to the right, just up there, and it was about 30-40 feet above where we are now, so I brought the track down to a more meaningful level just to keep the speed up, otherwise you just end up losing speed on the way down. So brought the track back down to a sensible level, and it's doing alright. We've got one more corner to go around and then we'll be at Roseville. That's how you pronounce it. They're up to top speed as well, 80 miles an hour. I'm going to continue to drop right down to sea level. There's another steep drop here. I had to climb first slightly. And in the distance is our destination, or our next station. You can see every train that stops is going to get a good run up the hill. It's a very, from a standing stop, it's a very tough hill to climb. But we're there, and we've got people waiting. There's one person waiting, and I think that was it. So the journey was well thought out. One person waiting, and we're off again, off to Grayson City. And this is another windy trip coming up. Gonna click round to the left onto the narrow bridge, across the River Wye. A bit of a glitch there in the bridge. And we're going to climb slightly again as we wind our way through the hills. Not a steep mountain as before, but it's still a climb nonetheless. So building this takes forever, this layout. And the track is fine, but it's when you've got to place all the signals and switch tracks, the points, it takes forever. But in the end it's all worthwhile because you end up with a very nice trip through the scenery. And you can see we're climbing again. Oh, good head speed though, 40. Starting to drop speed. The tunnel just ahead. This is another one of those sort of bricked off tunnels. Yeah, so I'm going to have to update that because it doesn't look right. It's a modded tunnel, that's why. And I have to change that for a proper tunnel. It just bricked off in the middle there, that looks weird. But when you're in it looks fine. The other end should be okay, I'm not sure if it's a proper design or not. Still, I've got a slight glitch to the left of the lighting effect, but it's not a big issue. I mean, it's still a work in progress, this game. Even though it's fully released, they are still updating the game every now and then, which is what I really appreciate. Tunnel exit there. I think we're dropping in incline, dropping in height rather, altitude. Now we're going to climb again as well. Dropping frame rate there. Getting up some good speed now. Although we're starting to drop. Another tunnel just ahead. Actually, that's a proper tunnel. No bricked off entrance. I think we're far from our destination of Grayson City. We'll have to wait and see. There we are, there's the destination. Right on the coast, very nice. Just into the station at a steady 60. And is there anybody waiting? There's one or two. Yeah, there's quite a few people waiting there. Not a long wait. We're off to Vieira. Or Vieira. Don't know. Call it Vieira. I think that's the town just in the distance. I just see a town in the far left. I think that's where we're going. So it's not far away. Into the woodlands again. Across farmers' fields. And maybe it's not that town on the left, I was mistaken. We're just going to keep panning to the right until we end up somewhere. Well, there's the roundhouse to the left. That's where the train started off. There's two roundhouses, one at this end of the sidings and one at the other end. Just to cater for both both directions of trains. So you've got the one roundhouse there with the turntable. And a very graphically glitched track there. And another roundhouse just up ahead. That's another mod for the game you can get on the Steam Workshop. And is that our town in the distance? Looks like population. Judging by the amount of steam coming from that train ahead, I think that is our station up ahead, is it? Or I could be just mistaken. Oh, we're not far away. If that is our destination, yeah, we're across the viaduct here. Bit of a climb. there's our station there. And a few more people waiting here. And the next stop, Overton. I think there's one more. I think this is the last stop before we reach Southampton, I think. We just have to wait and see. Should we're up to speed, we'll see. Bump there. Right, got a drop in height here. So we should get some speed up pretty early. Frame rate's dropping like hell. Just had a jump cut there, the bloody game went into seizure mode. Right, anyway, on with our journey. 61 miles an hour, we're doing alright. Like I said, I think we've got Overton ahead, and I think that is the last stop before we're back at the starting point. Where the liners are. So we'll see when we get there. With the train approaching. So we're already half an hour into this, about 33 minutes in already, so we're doing alright. Okay, here we are at Overton. So it's not been a very profitable run because we're... oh, hang on, lag. Yeah, so not a very profitable run. I think passengers are a bit scarce on this route back this way. But not a big issue. So just pull in here. And you get a few more people in this part of town, this part of the world. Plenty of people waiting, mostly for the other side, but there we go. Everyone disappears. And our next stop is Southampton, which is where we began the journey. So overall though, this is actually better than a trip to Waterloo from Southampton. That's a good hour and a bit. On a good day. There's a good hour and a bit just from Winchester. So Southampton probably be another 25 minutes onto the journey. It doesn't matter. Let's say it's a long way nonetheless. Wouldn't want to walk it, that's for sure. So I think, is that our town in the distance? I'm not sure. If there's, you can see 4 smokestacks, then it is, but I don't think it is. We've got a river alongside us. I think that's the river we've got to cross. And I think this is the river where the Olympic class ship is in the estuary. So we're just going to basically follow this river, I think, and then we'll be there. So yeah, I think that will be the end of our journey. So it's not been too bad, has it? Like I say, if you're into this sort of thing, I really would recommend Transport Fever. It is a really good... If you like Transport Tycoon, you know, or OpenTTD, it's very similar to that, although the economy is very different. It's all supply and demand. It's not a case of just picking up a cargo and shifting it somewhere and getting the money for it. It's all... You won't get a supply chain unless there is a demand for it, so you've got to work things out. And you've always got to keep the chain going. It's not a case of just delivering livestock to a factory and leaving it there. You've got to take the goods from the factory to the town to complete the chain. Otherwise, there will be no chain. And the lag spike there. A massive lag spike there. I don't know what was going on. Yeah, the game is not brilliant in terms of performance. It does lag a bit, as you can tell, but I think that's mainly because I'm recording. So we'll do try and adjust that somehow. Probably record it in MP4 rather than WMV. But hey ho, doesn't matter. We're not far from where we're going anyway. And I think I can see 4 smokestacks in the distance, in between the trees. So I think that's the ships in the distance. So yeah, that river alongside us is where the ships are docked. Well, 2 of them are, and the other 2 are docked around the other side of the town. So we are getting there. Once the town fills out a bit more, the ships won't look so gawky. And there you can see the ships just there. They're the ones in the river estuary. We're going to turn right and pass right behind the sterns of those ships. So got a sharp right across the bridge and into the station. There we go. Behind those 2. Into the station. And that's where we end our journey. Back where we began. And there we go. We shall call it a day right there. And whoop. There we go. Oh, end of year, so we've got new trains approaching. There we go. There goes our train. Disappearing away. Off for another lap of the map we've just been round. Another lap of the map. So yeah, there we go. That is what we've just been round. And we'll do a quick aerial shot of where we were. So there's the ships, there's the town. So we just zoom out and find where the carousel is to give you an idea on how large the area is. So we have to follow back along the track. Back along here, back this way through the wibbly bit. There's the bridge, and then the station climbed a massive hill there. And then you can see the carousel where the track curved round. Can't see, I'm trying to do it with show it with a mouse cursor, but you can't see that because it's not selected. But you've got 4 trains on it already, and the track curved round. You can't really see how high it was until you're actually on the train, but it does drop a massive amount of height. So there's the viaduct. And the viaduct originally went all the way around here, but I thought I'd put a bit of land in and make it look a bit more realistic. So I'll just quickly fly along, and there's the tunnel where we come out. And you can see there, you can see the shelf where the track used to run. So it used to go along here. Well, I attempted to build the track along here. So it goes right along there, along the edge there, and through the hills. But when I got to turning the track towards the station, it's just too much of a slope, so I had to turn it to the right. On either side of the tunnel are 2 chimneys, or a chimney each side, and they're sort of a marker, so when you're down on the hill you can sort of see where the tunnel is, but it's so far away you can barely see the chimneys as it is. So here we are, down at the track, and then you can see the chimney's right in the distance there, so that's how high it drops, or how far it drops. And I did point out there was another ship in the distance over here. Once again, it's just parked up, not in use, just used for display to make the docks look more interesting. And yeah, it is. What's this one? This is the Mauretania, of course. Available on the Steam Workshop, and very nicely made it is. Beautiful. Yeah, very nice it is. You got all the details. I mean, you got all the propellers. You can just see the propellers underneath there. The rudder as well. I'm not sure if it's a scratch made or conversion from something. I'm not sure, but the detail on it is amazing. And you can go right along, and all the detail, lovely. I didn't expect that. Right, yeah, I just had the tannoy. I didn't expect to hear that. Right, we'll just fly back over to where we began, which is somewhere down here. Yeah, we've got two ships parked by the bridge. You got the Olympic class ship there and the Leviathan there. Which one's that? That's another Mauretania, of course. You've got the train putting across there. So you got the Olympic class ship there. It's not quite as detailed though. You can see the promenade windows are not rendered very well, but nonetheless though, it does give you a sort of size and things, and it does look pretty good. And yeah, okay, bloody Jack and Rose on the bell, no fuck's sake. Alright, I'm gonna leave that. So yeah, you got the two ships over here. You got buses running in the town, that's what that noise is. So you got a Mauretania there, and you got a Lusitania over here. This is actually the proper Lusitania. You got the name on the side there. Sorry that it glows white, that's just where the mouse cursor is. So you got Lusitania there, all the proper superstructure in that. So you got two ships parked here. You got the terminal there with the train outside. And when you're approaching on the train, it does look quite good. As you see the other two ships in the distance there. And so that's that. That is a trip around the map. I will try and post a link in the description of where it is. It is a recent addition to the Steam Workshop, so you'll probably be able to find it. I think it's Amarola. It begins with an A anyway, and it's got loads of sceneries. You can tell, you know, loads of farm, fields, towns, loads of trees, and plenty more islands and things. So there we go. That is the trip around this map, and I hope you enjoyed it. If not, then don't worry. And so yeah, that is Transport Fever. So this is Rich signing off, logging off, and disappearing. And I shall return with another video soon, so bye for now.